Been trending online today for Media Watch, and Haxi Mears-Belkin joins me here on the set. Hi, Haxi.
Hi, Nadia.
So we've been talking this evening about Laurent Gbagbo in The Hague. We've been talking about US-Russian relations, but the big story you want to tell us about is some pretty extraordinary weather that's been kind of distressing all of us this week.
Absolutely. So a polar vortex swept through large parts of the US's Midwest this week, bringing with it temperatures as low as minus 49 degrees Celsius. Now, temperatures are going to rise again over the weekend, but social media is very much still awash with photos of the Chicago River frozen over. Lake Michigan, meanwhile, has been covered in a rather eerie fog, a frozen fog, as you can see there. Now, while this cold spell is undoubtedly mesmerising for many of us, it's also, of course, extremely dangerous. No group more at risk than the homeless. 80,000 homeless people in Chicago alone. And social media has been a very useful tool for alerting people to their plight and also for highlighting a number of acts of kindness. Time magazine reporting that an anonymous Good Samaritan has paid for 70 homeless people to sleep in a hotel during the worst of this weather after they were actually evicted from a homeless shelter after one of their heaters, their propane gas heaters, exploded. Now, in Cleveland, meanwhile, an initiative called The Wall of Love is growing by the day. People are taking bags of cold weather essentials, jumpers, scarves, gloves, and anyone who needs them can simply go along and take them. The only request of this initiative that you return the favour if and when you can at a later date. Now, it's not just the homeless who need looking out for in extreme weather. One pharmacist in Michigan has enlisted her son and her snowmobile to make sure that people snowed in during this bad weather can still get their prescriptions on time. Now, freezing cold weather has led to innumerable acts of kindness, altruism, but also a hell of a lot of wonderment. People have worked out, as you can see here, that blowing bubbles in these sub-zero temperatures creates these very strange orbs of white smoke. Other people, I'm not quite sure how they worked this out, but have worked out that if you throw a pair of wet jeans up into the air, they will freeze, tumble through the air, and get stuck like a statue in the snow. Other people,
extraordinary.
It's not bad. Other people heading out into those extremely cold temperatures with wet hair. Surprise, surprise, it freezes, as this girl discovered for herself. Now, the weather is so unusual that people in the Midwest are being subjected to natural phenomena that most people just don't get to encounter that often. People in Chicago have been reporting hearing loud booming sounds. Now, obviously, very alarming for the people experiencing them, but we've also seen a lot of articles in recent days explaining exactly what's going on. Now, this article in USA Today explaining that such a rapid drop in temperature leads to a very quick freeze. Rocks, the ground, mud, ends up bursting rather than expanding slowly as it would when water particles freeze in the way that we're used to.
Some of that most extraordinary footage then all from the United States, but this has been a problem in Canada as well, hasn't it, this week?
It has, although I'm going to talk about something slightly more light-hearted from Canada. That is to say, a bear etched into the snow in Montreal, causing considerable consternation. Why, I hear you cry?
Yes,
well,
please, yeah.
Take a look at the bear's belly button. The belly button is 2 metres away from each of the sides of the bear. How did it get there? We can't see any footprints. There are a number of theories. Some people thinking that it's the work of a drone, others saying that's impossible in these extremely cold temperatures. Drone batteries would only last a couple of minutes. Other people thinking that this could maybe be a case of the belly button arriving before the bear, that belly button's in fact the work of a fallen bird possibly, or another animal. Now, while parts of the US and Canada were colder than Antarctica this week, the United Kingdom on Thursday was also being told to prepare for heavy snowfall, although a lot of the country was actually rather disappointed. There wasn't quite as much snowfall as many had anticipated. Alistair Coleman, a Twitter user, tweeting, "Horrific commute this morning. Our train was 4 minutes late into Waterloo. We had to eat the weakest passenger on the train and drink from the toilet. Hashtag Snowmageddon." Snowmageddon. Jay Rayner, a restaurant critic for the Guardian newspaper, also embracing that rather sardonic British humour, shall we say. He's tweeted a picture of his garden looking, a little bit frosty, but not particularly cold. Alongside that, he's tweeted, "When a snow event like last night's hits, one can only wonder at the majesty of natural forces in full throaty roar. Human civilization may well survive this, but for now we should look upon this weather cataclysm and feel only humble." And let's spare a thought, finally, for a man called Dave Maidment. He seems to have stocked up on a hell of a lot of milk, expecting, we can only assume, a hell of a lot of snow. Not sure what happened to #Snowmageddon, but that was a little disappointing, sad, crying face. Not only have I got to go to work now, I've also got to get through all this milk. Good luck to him, I say.
Perhaps he was stockpiling for Brexit, though. There are some Brexiteers having a go at that as well.
Stockpiling for Brexit, stockpiling for the snow that never happened. Maybe Brexit will never happen. We just don't know.
Don't want to say fingers crossed, Haxi, on the programme. But thank you very much indeed. Haxi, Mayers Belkin there with Media Watch.